Hello friends, welcome back. A little reintroduction for the earlier goof up. I am yet going to wait for all you beautiful people to connect with me once again. I hope I'm audible to all you beautiful people. Alright friends, I welcome you all to my new initiative of Vision in Voice. Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam, universal oneness, the world is one big family. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the vision here is to bring in young leaders, seniors and experts and try to connect by creating a new era communication and of course converting this vision into action and creating ourselves as better people and professionals. Ladies and gentlemen, a Vision in Voice by Drashti Vijar. I am your virtual host Drashti, and it brings me immense happiness and pleasure to welcome all you beautiful people once again. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I have something very interesting to share with you all. I was just narrating it out to all you beautiful people as to how when I started the promotions for a Vision in Voice, my segment, it happened to fall on the previous Thursday where the women across India celebrated Hariyali Tej, celebrated the monsoon, the season, and offered prayers to Goddess Parvati for their respective husbands. Well, talking about Goddess Parvati, the Shakti in Shiva, and today happens to be another auspicious day. Today is Nag Panchami, where Indians worship snakes. Well, what a auspicious day to start a Vision and Voice segment. Also along with that, people, I would like to mention about our guest today, Ms. Sneha Vaskar. She is an assistant professor and a grooming consultant, a soft skills trainer. Well, to add many feathers in her cap, she is going to arrive with us right away. And let me... Sneha, if you're watching me, may I please request you to send me a request? Accepted your request and I'm waiting for our speaker, Sneha.
Hello. Hi.
Hi. Yes, Sneha, back again. Thank you so much. Sorry for the goof up. Well, everything is at our tip of the fingers with internet, but they also teach us many new lessons.
Yes.
So a good learning experience to begin with. I just introduced you to my audience, talking about how you are an assistant professor. Earlier, you were with as a lecturer at the Hanukar College, and now you are with NM College, Mumbai. So how has your experience been so far into the teaching industry, the coaching industry? And what do you have to say about why? What was the visionary behind it? Why did you choose to enter this field? And how has your experience been so far?
Okay, firstly, thank you so much, Drashti, for the warm welcome. We've connected like this after ages and it feels great to talk to you like this. Coming to your question, what is it that motivated me to get into lectureship? So if I go back to 2014, when I decided...
Sneha, may I please request you to be a bit louder because your voice is
Okay.
dropping despite of being the highest in volume.
Is this better? Is this okay?
This
Do
is
you hear me
better, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So going back to 2011 when I was pursuing my CA, I decided not to do CA, but now what? I didn't have a road to go ahead. And that time, teaching was one option which I had shortlisted. And I just told myself, let me give it a shot. I will get into teaching. Let me see, I'll give the exams. And while I gave my exams and I got my job at ML Dhanukar College, I was simultaneously preparing for my MBA because I thought I wouldn't survive much for longer period in teaching. I don't know why. But then when I started teaching, I really loved my job. And that's when the process and the experience of actually facilitating, talking to students, I think that made me develop myself personally as well as professionally. And I think that's when I decided that this is what I really want to do. So
Well, the whole motive of a vision and voice, as I mentioned, is to, build ourselves, reboot and have ourselves as better person, both in our personal and professional life. So yes, also would like to add that you are also currently pursuing your PhD in image building and soft skills. What's your take?
so for teachers, if you need career progression, you need to do a PhD. And I was very sure that if I'm ever going to enroll for a PhD, it's going to be in a field or in that domain which I'm really very interested in. And I was very thankful to have met a guide who really approved of the topic that I like. So I was pursuing image consulting and soft skill from Image Consulting Business Institute, and I was very firm that I would probably choose only topics which I'm interested in, and these were a few shortlisted topics. There were a few PhD guides who weren't very comfortable with the topic because it was quite new in India. But my guide was, I think it was her vision probably and her belief to make, which actually I think, which made me reinforce the fact that, okay, this is really what I want to do. And I think that's how my process started. I'm still halfway through, and I have few months remaining for the completion. So I think, yeah, that's how the process started. And the take is, you really need to work hard. I didn't know it's so hard. It's so difficult.
I think good and greater things never come easy. So if you're determined, you have long ways to go. And that's been a personal learning. Now, as far as you just mentioned that the topic that you really wanted to work on, what I have read in your bio, the topics are very enthralling and come very intimidating also. For me, it was rather fascinating as I read body language, dress to impress, the art of Indian wear at workplace for women, and relative topics. To me, these topics appear as a sense of course, first impression. But not only that, but it appears to me a sense of authority, a sense of empowerment that lies behind. So, why these topics? I want to ask you, and our audience would really like to know what observations did you make that you choose to go ahead and have these topics as your areas of interest, and you've conducted workshops on these topics. To be very precise, these topics have been a very important part, and today's topic of discussion, that is power dressing, will come onto it later. But let's hear you out. What are your thoughts about these topics?
Okay, so I personally, as a child, always liked to get ready, and I always believed in self-presentation even as a child. Probably it came as legacy because everybody in my house, they are presentable, right? From my grandmother to my grandfather. So maybe that's come to me. However, when I started pursuing my course in image building, that's when I learned the science behind self-presentation, dressing, how it is related to one's self-confidence, self-concepts, identity.
Yeah.
And probably when I started researching, when I started pursuing my PhD and I read a lot of research papers, prior literature done by authors and scholars in this domain, I realized probably this particular topic also has relevance from a sociological aspect, which means it does have an impact on the entire society. So if you see the Western culture, they're very much attracted to brands. That might not be the case in India, but in India, people still prefer to be well dressed in some of the other aspects. So when I was doing these, initially when I started with first impression, that was my first training ever. So my first training started with first impression, and first impression has five important elements. It's verbal communication, your appearance, so clothing, grooming, body language, and business etiquette.
Yeah.
As and when I started delving in these concepts in detail, I realized it's not just the vanity that we're talking about. It's not just about the branded clothes that you wear. It's not just about you speaking very polished English when it comes to business etiquette. There are many such things which we as people are not aware, and we should be aware. And to create that awareness, and I'll tell you something, while I was doing my review of literature for my thesis, I just realized in US, the first paper ever written on business etiquette was in 1950. And if I find that relevance in Indian perspective, I don't see any research papers written. So that's when I realized probably it's also the need of the hour, but we also need to customize our etiquette depending on the culture and tradition that we have come from. And I think that's the reason that motivated me to do all these workshops from the Indian context?
Of course, talking about international way, I think I have a reference to share that the very first, I think Coco Chanel back in initial 1920s or 30s, I'm not sure, but Coco Chanel was the one to come up with this power suit for women. And I found it a beautiful relevance, that it's been a revolution altogether. For the very first time, she designed a concept of power suit for women, combined it with these trousers and skirts and things like that. But as you rightly mentioned, it is not only about dressing yourself to, address how do you want to be addressed as, but also your written and spoken skills, soft skills, and many business and meeting etiquettes that one needs to keep in mind. So what are the giveaways when we talk about business etiquettes and one really and thoroughly needs to keep in mind? Then I'll come back to the verbal communication part of it.
See, now again coming to business etiquette, I'll tell you why is business etiquette or concepts like clothing very tricky and not, I wouldn't say it's a universal concept, because when I say it's all pervasive or universal, it means the same concept or the same elements apply to everybody in the world. What I would like to highlight over here is most of us feel that business etiquette might, as I mentioned earlier, is equivalent to me speaking polished English, me doing a handshake. But business etiquette initially started with the concept of making the other person feel comfortable in your presence. So let's say when the two of us are talking, and let's say I am somebody who cannot really comprehend English, and you are speaking to me in English, you're making me uncomfortable. So that's not really good etiquette. So what I'm trying to highlight over here is there are certain things which we believe or we anticipate or rather we assume to be as etiquette, but over the years we need to understand it's not what we think it is, and there is a deeper science to it attached to it, and most importantly it is not universal. It changes with the kind of culture, workplace, profession, industry that you interact or belong to.
Sure. A very nice thought. And I would also like to add that, as you rightly mentioned, that making your space or probably a room that you walk in to make other people feel comfortable with you, giving them an opportunity to rather communicate in a very easygoing manner, not being rude, addressing them in a way which is very polite, which is very generous, definitely helps and adds on. So, Sneha, I hope you're
Sorry,
connected
Drashti,
with me. I see you
I'm sorry.
booting.
Could you please repeat? I'm not able to hear you.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
Is it
Yeah.
better now?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
better.
So
Sorry.
I just mentioned as to how not being rude, being generous, walking into a room full of people, making them comfortable, easy to approach, can definitely be a beginning way, having an icebreaker there. Also, when talking about workspaces, there are a few things that I really want to highlight. Talking about verbal communication, as you mentioned, that not many are really good at talking to people. At times, people have a notion that they don't want to do a certain job, a certain thing. Let's consider the times in COVID where people were working from home and they were still poured with a lot of work, not in a similar office environment, but where they had to manage all the hardships that in the pandemic that one were going in. People I have come across also a few of them, and I have observed this in general, that people find it really difficult to say no to those things that they actually be saying no to. What is the right way to go about and saying no when we talk about a nice, friendly way to address their colleague or their boss?
Okay, so this is again my opinion. I've always felt that you can't please everyone. So there are going to be 100 people who are going to approach you, and you can't do 100 things. So you have to reject or say no to some things. Now, I have always done it on the basis of priority, which means I have my priority list set. Similarly, let's say people feel that a boss has given him or her a particular work, and that work is not important according to you. Okay, but the fact that the boss must have given it to you, there could be a reason why the boss chose you. So I always feel you can see
Sneha, so let me know if you're connected.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
okay. Sorry, I just, you were frozen. Sorry.
yeah.
So I was saying that when the boss is giving you certain work, he or she also has certain perspectives or reasons as to why they're giving you a particular work. Before saying no, I always feel it's a good way to discuss as to why, what was expected from the work, what is it that you can do the work better, and why were you chosen. So you can always have a healthy discussion. And after a point, I always feel you should give reasons to why you're saying no. What people generally do is they say, I don't think it's possible because I'm unable to do it, and they stop it over there. They stop
Also,
it
to
there.
add on, there can be some assumptions that you think that
Correct.
people will understand you, but rather than you not speaking it out and expect
Correct.
the opponent to, expect you to understand.
Correct. So when you do not give a reason, there might be misunderstanding. So if the person is really important to you, when you say no, you try to make the person understand the reason I said no to this is because probably this doesn't seem to be something I would like to do, something which is giving or contributing to my career progress. But if it's your boss, then you have to weigh whether saying no is going to have any impact on the kind of job you might get in future from that particular superior or senior. So I think that weighing and prioritizing always helps when you say no.
Right. And I think people should also understand that saying no is not a bad thing. Of course, depending on your priorities and what suffices you the best, one can depend and prioritize accordingly. Now that people are not working back in their offices, now people are working from home majorly or alternate days, or depending on various sectors, they have to go to offices or no. But when people were working together, when things were normal, and now this is live is the new normal for us. But talking about privacy, you know, uh, I think there is a very thin barrier when you talk about privacy with your colleagues. Yes, you want to end up making friends, but how important it is to refrain yourself from not letting your personal life out in a work environment. And however, when you connect with somebody as a colleague, as a friend, and you tend to discuss certain episodes, but how healthy or unhealthy is this practice? And even for the opponent, say you and I are working in a working environment, a workspace, and I have some personal issues or hardships going on, I tend to discuss it with you, having an idea. But in the workspace, that privacy, how does one need to maintain?
Okay, so I think this there would be a two-part for answering your question. The first one is with respect to privacy. I think everyone's definition of privacy is quite different.
Different.
For some people, talking, when you just say everything that you are, that's just being open, and they don't think they have anything to hide. So their life is like an open book. So I think privacy is a very subjective, individual concept. Having said that, I also believe that today organizations are trying to look at what kind of a person you are behind the scene, that is, in your personal life. So I'll give you an example. When I give letter of recommendations to my students, I remember there was one student's organization who actually asked me to check his social media site and rate, like, as to what kind of a student do you think he or she could be depending on the social media posts. So whether the person is too outgoing, whether the person has
Yeah.
uploaded certain pictures which is not appropriate, which means you drinking or you partying really hard, and you having photos which are not really professional.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to put in perspective is, even if when I say that privacy is a very individualistic, subjective concept, but organizations today are actually evaluating you or assessing you on the role on the basis of how you present yourself on a digital platform. So your digital footprints also have an impact on your career progression. So from that context, I always recommend people to put only those things which probably is okay for the entire generation of the world to watch about you. So your personal, so even if you say that my personal and professional life, I would like to keep it different, somehow through your social media, through your Facebook accounts, people get to know a lot about what kind of families you might be having, what kind of friends you have. So if you do not want all of that, you either don't get yourself tagged or you keep yourself away from all these situations on a digital platform. This is if you want.
Sure. You just mentioned about the social media and its influence in the corporate culture. But let's also talk about the one-on-one connection that two colleagues have in what I was trying to understand from my question from you was that to how healthy it could turn out to be to discuss your personal life in that working environment,
Correct.
in that particular workspace. I mean, my idea to go about it was कि जब काम है तो काम के time पे काम का ध्यान
Correct.
रखिए. After hours, you can, you know, of course, have
Correct.
episodes of chilling together and discussing your personal life and things like that. Don't you think it complicates a bit when you kind of drive in your personal life in your work environment?
Okay, so one of my senior gave me a fantastic suggestion, which I keep in, which I always remember. The person told me the first 2 years of joining the organization, you're supposed to keep your mouth shut and ears open. So that's the year, that those 2 years are probably the time you give yourself to observe and understand, okay, which kind of people could I be friendly to, or who could be my friend. Generally, you're friendly to everyone, okay?
Right.
But you
Right.
might not be everybody's friend. Now, again, when I say this, why am I, for me, I have personally had a great experience in both my working organizations. For example, when I was in Dhanukar College, I had colleagues, and these colleagues today have become like one of my best friends, because we really wish well for each other, and
Yeah.
we've observed each other, we've seen who's been supportive, who's not been supportive, and the same is applicable in my new organization. So I think the first, initially and essentially, you're supposed to observe and see what kind of people you think you could speak to, and once you build that rapport and trust, only then you should discuss. So as you rightly said, the initial few months or years could be in doing your work, observing, and then once you gradually build the rapport, then if you really need somebody to share some workplace complicated issues, you can then probably do that.
Sure. I have just had a few comments in our live session where people are really liking the kind of questions that we are encountering right away. So I'm glad that people are able to relate
Thank you.
with our live session, because I think somewhere or the other, everybody goes through this phase of the working culture. There's so much going in and around of it. Prem Chaudhary has requested us to also keep our lingual in Hindi. So चलिए थोड़ा सा हिंदी में भी बात करने की, हम अच्छी हिंदी में बात करने की पूरी कोशिश करेंगे. सिर्फ प्रेम आपके लिए नहीं, बाकी हमारे सभी व्यूअर्स के लिए भी. कमिंग बैक,
Sure.
अब बात करेंगे वो आज के खास टॉपिक की, पावर ड्रेसिंग. और जैसा ही इसका नाम हमें सजेस्ट करता है, जो हमें बताने की कोशिश करता है कि ये टर्म पावर ड्रेसिंग में पावर तो कहीं ना कहीं छुपा ही है. A sense of authority, a sense of empowerment definitely lies behind power dressing. लेकिन स्नेहा, let's have your version of power dressing, all about power dressing, the do's and don'ts, because हमारे लिए ये बहुत ही नया कॉन्सेप्ट है. जैसा हमको लगता है कि पावर ड्रेसिंग यानी कि बस ड्रेसिंग के बारे में बात करेंगे कि क्या कॉर्पोरेट कल्चर में अच्छा है बुरा है, बट यहाँ पे मैं मेरे ऑडियंस को बताना चाहूंगी कि ये सिर्फ कॉर्पोरेट कल्चर के लिए नहीं है. I think it is from various segments and workplaces that people belong to, where they come from, where they are currently working. हर एक सेक्टर में पावर ड्रेसिंग की क्या महत्वाकांक्षाएं है, आइए जानते हैं स्नेहा से. स्नेहा प्लीज.
ओके, सो हम जब पावर ड्रेसिंग के कॉन्सेप्ट के बारे में बात करते हैं, और उसके पीछे थोड़ा हिस्ट्री है. जनरली 1950s या 40s की बात कर रहे हैं हम लोग. तभी क्लोथिंग, जो हम कपड़े पहनते हैं, उसका सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट फंक्शन ये था कि वी वेयर क्लोथ्स फॉर प्रोटेक्शन. मतलब हम अपने आप को और हमारी जो बॉडी है उसको हम लेट्स से विंटर या समर के से प्रोटेक्ट करने के लिए हम वो कपड़े पहनते हैं. ओवर द इयर्स ये जो प्रोटेक्शन का फंक्शन था, दैट वेंट अप टू बीइंग मॉडेस्टी. मॉडेस्टी मतलब आई एम वेयरिंग क्लोथ्स, मैं ये कपड़े पहन रहा हूँ या पहन रही हूँ क्योंकि आई वांट टू हाइड माय प्राइवेट्स. ओके, from protection to modesty to gradually became to identity, which means मैं ये कपड़े
Right.
इसलिए
How we
पहन रहा हूँ
identify
या
ourselves
पहन रही
as.
हूँ.
Yes.
Correct. कि मैं am I a boy, so I'm having XYZ type of clothes. If I'm a girl, तो मैं इस तरीके के कपड़े पहनती हूँ. या if I'm married, तो मैं इस तरीके के कपड़े पहनती हूँ. If I'm unmarried, मैं इस तरीके के कपड़े पहनती हूँ. And gradually today the function has come to adornment. Adornment मतलब मैं ये कपड़े beautification के लिए पहनती हूँ. So
Right.
क्या है पावर ड्रेसिंग के लिए? वी हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड कि व्हेन आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट पावर ड्रेसिंग, जिस इंसान को मैं केटर कर रही हूँ, सपोज जैसे मैं दृष्टि को पूछूं, दृष्टि आपको आपकी जिंदगी में कपड़ों का क्या महत्व है, शायद दृष्टि बोलेगी मे बी मॉडेस्टी, पर मैं बोलूंगी शायद एडॉर्नमेंट, कोई और बोलेगा प्रोटेक्शन, बिकॉज मैं शायद कूल क्लाइमेटिक कंडीशंस के कंट्री में रहता हूँ या रहती हूँ. इन अ सिचुएशन लाइक दिस वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड पावर ड्रेसिंग पे, ये टॉपिक पे जाने से पहले इट इज इम्पोर्टेंट फॉर अस टू अंडरस्टैंड सामने वाले इंसान के मन में कपड़ों की अहमियत क्या है. ये अहमियत जब हम समझते हैं, ओनली देन वी कैन केटर टू द टॉपिक ऑफ पावर ड्रेसिंग. ठीक है. Now, power dressing. Why are we talking about power dressing? As Drashti rightly mentioned initially, Coco Chanel ने power suits या जो the little black dress, ये जो concepts चालू किए थे, it was because पहले initially men were the only one who used to work. But when women started working, people realized that when you give them a little bit of boost through their clothing, when you give them a boost with respect to suits to match them or give them equality with respect to clothing at workplace, तो औरतों को भी काम पे जाने को अच्छा लगता है. एंड दैट्स व्हेन ये जो मैच सूट्स का कॉन्सेप्ट है, ये वेस्टर्न कंट्रीज में चालू हो गया. अभी पावर ड्रेसिंग का अहमियत आज क्या है? अभी क्या होता है, बहुत सारे लोगों को लगता है जब मैं कोई फॉर्मल कपड़े पहनती हूँ, फॉर एग्जाम्पल ट्राउजर्स या शर्ट, इट इज पावर ड्रेसिंग. ऐसा बिल्कुल नहीं है. पावर ड्रेसिंग डिपेंड्स ऑन आप कौन से इंडस्ट्री को बिलोंग करते हैं, आपका जॉब प्रोफाइल क्या है, आप क्या काम कर रहे हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, अगर मैं कोई एड एजेंसी में काम कर रही हूँ, या और इफ आई बिलोंग टू लेट्स से अ मार्केटिंग इंडस्ट्री, ऐसे इंडस्ट्री में जनरली आप किस तरीके के, लाइक पेस्टल शेड्स, व्हाइट कलर, ब्लू कलर, ऐसे कोई रिक्वायरमेंट्स नहीं है. लोगों को जो चाहिए लोग वो पहन सकते हैं. ऑन दी अदर हैंड, लेट्स से फॉर अ प्रोफेशन लाइक मी, मैं आई एम इनटू टीचिंग या एजुकेशन सेक्टर, यहाँ पे अभी तक वेस्टर्न क्लोथ्स इतने एक्सप्लोर नहीं हुए हैं इन क्लासरूम्स. The reason being, if I'm wearing a shirt and I'm writing on the board, शायद वो shirt ऊपर आ जाएगा. It might not be functional. So depending on आप कौन से इंडस्ट्री को बिलोंग करते हो, पावर ड्रेसिंग का कॉन्सेप्ट इवॉल्व हुआ है. So power dressing came with the aspect of जब मैं कोई कपड़े पहनती हूँ, when I wear that kind of clothes, I really feel a boost in my self confidence या self esteem. तो ये है पूरा पावर ड्रेसिंग का कॉन्सेप्ट, और इसके पीछे बहुत सारा we could say बहुत सारा रिसर्च है, and this topic itself is a very big topic. So if there are any specific questions, like as you said, do's and don'ts. So the first do of any power dressing is आप जो भी कपड़े पहनते हैं, that needs to be appropriate for the occasion. So yes. For example, today when I am talking to Drashti, let's say मैं blazer पहन के आती हूँ, there wouldn't have been any problem. But क्या होता है, I want to show Drashti that you and me are equal. तो अगर मैं ब्लेजर पहन के आ रही हूँ, आई एम ट्राइंग टू विद माय क्लोथिंग शो हर, लिसन, आई एम समबडी मोर सुपीरियर बिकॉज़ आई हैव ऑन अ ब्लेजर, यू हैवंट. हमें वो नहीं करना है, हमें वो नहीं करना.
Also, Sneha, sorry to interrupt, but I would also like to add the sense of authority that we were talking about, right? Also depending on कि आप कौन से फील्ड से है, definitely, लेकिन एक ये add on भी है कि आप कौन से designation पे हो.
Correct.
राइट, बिकॉज आज से सपोज अगर कोई टीम लीडर है या उनके सुपीरियर बॉस है और आप नॉर्मल एक मीटिंग में है, you don't want to come out as overpowering also, right? Dressing up in a blazer, heavy blazer or things like that, you don't want to build that kind of image also. So you have to be very particular in those measures as well. What is your thought about the same?
Correct. So as you rightly said, मैं आपको और एक एग्जांपल देती हूँ. मेरे PhD के डेटा कलेक्शन के लिए I had gone to some incubation centers. तो ये सारे incubation centers के जो entrepreneurs हैं, उसमें से कुछ incubation center के entrepreneurs इतने अच्छे हैं कि उनका जो प्रोडक्ट है वो ऑलरेडी मार्केट में आके इंटरनेशनल सेल भी हो गया है. बट उनसे जब मैं सवाल करती हूँ कि आपको क्या लगता है, आपके in your workplace, what are the kind of clothes you would want people to wear? उनका आंसर होता है, मुझे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, जीन्स और टी शर्ट पहन के आ जाओ, as long as you're working, it's fine. So उनके लिए पावर ड्रेसिंग की अहमियत is functionality. मतलब they should wear such clothes which are functional. So similarly, as you rightly said, designation matters. Designation के अलावा उस इंडस्ट्री में क्या कपड़ों को वो अहमियत है क्या? फॉर एग्जाम्पल, एंटरप्रेन्योर ओनर है तो उसका डेजिग्नेशन तो है, he is at a higher, he is the most superior in that particular organization.
Yes.
अगर उसको ही कपड़े की कोई अहमियत नहीं है, the concept of power dressing of that particular organization is limited to functionality and not adornment or identity, etc.
That's the differentiation. I think the very first do's that we've understood from you. What are the other key points? Yeah.
Yes. The first one is appropriateness. Second one is functional. So as I said, आप जो भी पहनते हो और आप जो भी काम कर रहे हो, फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगर मैं पढ़ा रही हूँ तो मुझे पता है आई हैव टू राइट ऑन द बोर्ड, मे बी आई हैव टू बेंड डाउन इफ समथिंग फॉल्स, आई नीड टू वेयर समथिंग जिसमें ये सारे बॉडी मूवमेंट्स जब मैं करती हूँ आई एम नॉट अनकंफर्टेबल. So functionality becomes second. Third is you need to wear something which is relevant to your industry. So appropriate और relevant में फर्क क्या है? Appropriate is appropriate as per occasion. Relevance क्या है? When I say education sector, उधर wearing western clothes is not inappropriate. किसी ने मना नहीं किया है. But relevant क्यों है? क्योंकि मेरे आजू बाजू में there are a lot of people, or rather everybody is wearing only Indian clothes. So agar if I want to stand out, I will wear western clothes. If I really for in the beginning I want to fit in and just want to welcome people and be welcoming with my clothes, I would then go with Indian. So isko hum bolte hain relevance. Okay?
Sure. And yes, one more thing here, that also because आपके माहौल में growing adults, बच्चे बहुत हैं, you know, probably as an influence, आप उन पे कैसे निशान छोड़ते हैं उनकी सोच पर, उनके जो एक बच्चा आज इतने घंटे बिताता है कॉलेज में, फिलहाल नहीं बिता रहा है, बहुत लोगों को इसकी खुशी है, लेकिन ऑफ कोर्स ऑनलाइन सेशंस भी चल रहे हैं, लेकिन दौर की बात करें, कॉलेज टाइम्स की बात करें, तो आपके माहौल में बहुत सारे ऐसे यंग बच्चे हैं, ग्रोइंग अडल्ट हैं. आप उनकी लाइफ में एज अ टीचर तो डेफिनेटली बहुत ज्यादा इम्पैक्ट करते हैं, लेकिन आप अपने आप को कैसा रखते हैं, आप अपने आप को कैसा प्रेजेंट करते हैं, इसकी भी कुछ अलग इम्प्रेशंस बच्चों पे डेफिनेटली देते हैं.
Yes, right.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Adding to this about relevance and things like this, I would like to add, मेरी इंडस्ट्री में अभी आज अगर कोई कॉर्पोरेट सेमिनार है तो we would rather go for a formal dress, or as a host, as a presenter, keep ourselves comfortable in a nice shirt or a cotton vest or a blazer, something similar to that with trousers, because what I believe, denims is definitely a no-no when we talk about.
Correct.
That's probably my take, or in my opinion
Correct,
it is.
correct.
But there are times where it is an evening function, we want to dress up glamorous, we want to suit as per the occasion. For a day thing, I might be skeptical about putting on heels, because the 8 or 10 hours that I want to invest in a day's agenda, and restraining myself from not having any backaches and not being uncomfortable about it, I would rather go into flats. But for an evening 3 to 4 hour glamorous Met Gala kind of event, I would want to go glamorous. I would want to dress myself appealing. I would want to put on my heels and stuff. But there is one, yes, very useful input, Sneha. Thank you so much. Audience are gladly connecting with us, and they are agreeing to us also at some point, which is a good note for us. Maybe the topic that I am about to enter can turn out to be a little personal, a little controversial, but I'm just keeping my fingers crossed. स्नेहा, मुझे ये जानना था आपसे कि आज महिलाओं की बात करें तो कुछ एंटरटेनमेंट सेक्टर की तो बात ही अलग है, लेकिन बाकी सेक्टर्स की बात करें तो आई डोंट नो, बट अ फ्यू फीमेल्स, अ फ्यू women out there, it's a personal choice after all. What I'm trying to tell you is the lack of skin show, or the idea that you think that you don't want to let yourself out, you have that lack of skin show with you, which is a very good thing to go about it. But how does it differentiate in the outer world? What I'm trying to say here is, a few women take this as a defensive mechanism to themselves and dress up in a way which is very appealing, which has more skin show than it may require. Of course, to have people's attention, but at the same time, a well-dressed lady, elegantly dressed, walking out there on the street, can also leave an impression that, hey, I am here for business and pure business. I think that is one differentiation or look about at it. And the other lady who's, doing the skin show, walking down the same lane, may have different kind of attention towards her. What is your take on these two different kind of women, and think about the skin show and the ideologies behind it? Of course, it is a bold world out there. People can dress up as they want to, but when we are addressing dress up as how you want to be addressed at, how do we go about this?
Okay, so the first thing when we talk about skin show or anything, it's again a very subjective question, subjective
Yes,
concept. For
yes,
example, sleeveless for me might not be skin show, but for somebody it is skin show. So generally, I get this question a lot in my training, especially if the training is for women. So they always say, how do we cater to something like this? So I think this is where the organization or the HR policy of dressing comes into picture. For
right,
example, I'm working in the education sector, लोग मुझे क्या बोलते हैं? Listen, you wear whatever you want, it should be decent. Now this is a very vague policy because what is decent to me might not be decent to you.
we do,
Okay,
right,
and again, let me give an example. Maybe what models wear on runway, okay, that might be extremely decent for me, but that might not be decent for you. And even if it is decent for me, I wouldn't want to replicate that in my work. Okay, so in a situation like this, what happens is we need to understand that I'm trying to put this so when you're trying to, I'm finding this word which is going to be appropriate. Wait, just give me a
right,
moment. When I talk about subjectivity, okay, when I talk about this skin show concept, what happens is a lot, as you said, women sometimes use it to their advantage in a concept that of being oblivious कि मुझे ये पता ही नहीं था. Now this oblivion sometimes works for them. Maybe that's your question. कि उनको पता ही नहीं था, so they use that as a defense mechanism that I never knew. This is how I never knew the dressing policies. That's why I'm dressed like this. Hence, to solve all these problems, it's best to recommend to your HR कि ये चलेगा, ये नहीं चलेगा. So हमने students के लिए भी ripped jeans not allowed. A lot of
right,
students say, but why? I'm like, listen, ripped jeans is a fab fashion. I love it myself, but you can't wear it to college. The reason being, जब आप ripped jeans पहनते हो, मेरा ध्यान आपके ripped jeans पे जा रहा है. Are you coming to college to show me your ripped jeans or show me your intellect? So
right.
when any clothing overpowers your attention from the work and the attention goes to your clothes, that should not be worn at workplace. And hence, इसी subjectivity को हटाने के लिए the HR should define ये चलेगा, ये नहीं चलेगा. That's it.
Absolutely, and what we all believe that the right amount in everything makes sense. The moment you kind of cross that thin line or have any advancements in that, might not turn out to be really well. So thank you so much for addressing. And Sneha, also talking about the ladies special round that I was personally so much interested in, that how to go about styling Indian wear at work. And this is going to be a ladies special round. So all you beautiful ladies out there, hey, it must be a tough time deciding आज क्या पहनना है. ये तो हम सभी के लिए बहुत ही बड़ा प्रॉब्लम है. लेकिन ऑफ कोर्स वर्क एनवायरनमेंट की बात करें तो ये सारी चीजों को ध्यान में रखते हुए हमें एक अप्रोप्रिएट स्टाइलिंग क्लोथिंग चुनना होता है. तो व्हाट इज योर टेक अबाउट इंडियन वेयर, द इंडियन इन्फ्लुएंस इन द कॉर्पोरेट कल्चर, एंड व्हाट आर द डिफरेंट ग्रेट अमेजिंग वेज टू स्टाइल वन इन?
Okay, so firstly, if you Google if you Google formal clothes, आपको सिर्फ वेस्टर्न कपड़े दिखेंगे. And I noticed this when I had to make a project on Indian wear, and I Googled Indian formals, and there was nothing.
Nothing,
Okay?
right?
And that's when I realized this is a limitation area where we can work upon. Now, thankfully, we have so many retail brands which are great brands of Indian clothes, right from, let's say, an FBB to Fab India to Anita Dongre to and to Global Desi. You have many brands between that range. Now, how do you style Indian wear? For that, you need to understand 3 important principles. Number 1, your fabric needs to be firm. मतलब अगर आप if you for any formal clothing to qualify as clothing, the fabric needs to be firm. So let's say I'm talking about raw silk, or I'm talking about cotton, or I'm talking about let's say a woolen material when it comes to blazers. Now, वुल में तो हम इंडियन कपड़े जनरली मुंबई में नहीं पहन सकते, बट यहाँ पे कॉटन, लिनन, ऑल दीज थिंग्स क्वालिफाई एज फर्म फैब्रिक्स. तो फॉर्मल का फर्स्ट रूल है कि फर्म फैब्रिक होना चाहिए. सो वट एवर इंडियन क्लोथ्स यू वेयर, इफ यू वांट टू शो फॉर्मेलिटी, इट हैज टू बी अ फर्म फैब्रिक. सेकेंडली, आप जब वो फैब्रिक पहनते हैं, इट शुड नॉट टेक द शेप ऑफ योर बॉडी. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, जब मैं शिफॉन When I put chiffon on my
right,
body,
right.
it flows and it takes the shape of my body. So I should not have a pliable fabric. I should have a firm fabric. Secondly, जो मेरा, it should be structured. So when I wear a blazer, okay, it has these shoulder pads, so it gives an angle to my body. Any clothes that do not give angle to your body और आपके body का shape ले लेते हैं are not formals. The best example is leggings. All of us
Right.
feel that leggings
Yeah.
is quite comfortable, but leggings take the shape of your thighs, calves, etc. As a result of which they don't qualify as formals at workplace. So, you have firm fabrics, you have structured silhouettes, जिसको हम बोलते हैं
Yeah.
the outline of your body, and the third is darker colors. So maybe
Darker
this color,
colors.
I'm wearing blue,
Right.
darker colors, blue, or maybe a darker version of this navy, black, dark brown. Generally, to give you best example, if you see world leaders, they always wear black blazers because black denotes authority. Similarly,
Right.
all these darker colors denotes authority. So अगर आपको really, if you want to make an impression, to go very simple, जो cigarette pants होते हैं, आजकल जो fashion आया है,
Yes, absolutely.
cigarette pants, long kurta, black color pant, black color kurta of the same fabric, और उसके ऊपर एक अच्छा सा off whitish pastel color के cotton का दुपट्टा सिर्फ, you know, if you pleat it and take it like this, और बंद गला, it would be best, it would be a highest version of formal clothes, very easy, and something that, you know, you will be very comfortable in, especially if you like Indian wear.
Sure. Also talking about how you suggested darker color for women. But on the contrary, when we address men and their formal looks, they are always suggested and to go about with pastel shades, something like what I am wearing right now. The lighter shades of your whites or your pinks or your blues, greens. Why is this
Okay.
contradiction? Yeah.
Okay. Now, actually, it's actually these are again very small techniques. Generally, pastels are the ones that we're supposed to wear at workplace. So,
Okay.
what if you see blazer के अंदर they all wear pastel color के shirts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. तो अगर आप ब्लेजर पहन रहे हो, आपका ब्लेजर डार्को कलर का रहेगा, बट उसके अंदर कॉन्ट्रास्ट में आपके पेस्टल्स रहेंगे. ओके. सिमिलरली वुमेन के लिए भी, दैट्स द रीजन आई टोल्ड यू, यू वेयर अ ब्लैक कलर का black color kurti and cigarette pant, and you can go with a contrast pastel scarf or dupatta.
Dupatta,
Now,
correct.
ये इसके पीछे का लॉजिक क्या है, लेट मी एक्सप्लेन.
Yeah, yeah.
Let me give you an example. I have two photos, okay, in front of me. यहाँ पे एक, there's one man who is wearing, let's say, a navy blue shirt and a beige color pant. यहाँ पे another photo of a white shirt और a sky blue shirt and black pant. जब ये दोनों लोग इंटरव्यू के लिए बैठते हैं ना, इतना अपर हाफ उनका दिखता है. Now what happens, जिसने navy blue पहना है, that person's shirt is too bright for me. Getting it? But and there's a possibility when he creates a contrast on the top, मतलब ये ज़्यादा appealing है, तो मेरा ध्यान shirt पे जाता है.
Right.
इंटरव्यू के वक्त ध्यान शर्ट पे नहीं और मुझ पे होना चाहिए, इसीलिए they go with pastels and lighter colors. That is why even when these women go for interviews, we generally recommend them to wear black if you want to show the highest level of authority. But again, my question is, are you the highest authority over there? No, then avoid wearing such strong colors. So again, as you rightly said, depending on आपका designation क्या है, हमको उसको customize करना पड़ता है.
It's all about customizing one's needs and choice
And,
of how they want
as
to
I told
serve.
you,
Yeah.
and as I told you, there is जो सजेशन मैं आपको दे रही हूँ might not be valid for somebody else. तो
Right.
इसीलिए you know ये वर्कशॉप जरूरी क्यों होते हैं? Maybe I'm meeting a set of women जो homemakers है, उनके लिए मेरे recommendations अलग होंगे. जो homemakers है and जिनका part time work है, उनके लिए recommendations अलग होंगे. Men के लिए recommendations अलग होंगे. Hence I said all this power dressing ये universal नहीं है. कुछ चीजें universally applicable है.
Yeah.
कुछ हमें customize करनी पड़ती है.
Sure. Gaurav Bhaskar is here stating great inputs for women. Any suggestions for men? So now let us understand, Sneha, from your point of view as a grooming consultant and talking about power dressing, which are the three definite yes or win-win situation for guys at a workplace, at a corporate culture, at a segment? Yeah.
Okay, if you again, this is a very personal opinion. If you ask me the best,
Yeah.
if you have
Like,
to
you know, I
ask
think
me
this has to
every
work.
day,
This has to work out. मतलब ये तो win-win situation है, कुछ भी हो जाए.
everyday look of a boy or a man to work, very simple: black trousers, navy blue trousers, dark grey trousers. 3 must या तीनों में से कोई एक. Preferably I go with blacks because blacks expensive भी नहीं होते हैं, सबके साइज के मिलेंगे, सब पे अच्छे भी दिखेंगे depending on the body shapes and size. So black trousers, and you can go with white, sky blue, lighter shades of, let's say, lemon yellow shirts. So you can go with a dark light combination. And yes, one very important hack: your shoes and belt have to match, which people don't know. So if I'm wearing a black belt, the black belt and black, I can't wear brown shoes, because now here
Right.
it's about
Yeah.
dressing etiquette and manners. Okay, so
Right.
that's how, for men, if you ask me 3 things that will short work: light shirts, dark pants,
Match
no
your
white
belt
socks.
with your
Socks have to
shoe.
be match your belt with your shoes, and
Absolutely.
no white socks. No white socks. So that, yeah, those would qualify.
Also, Sneha, in my opinion, I feel something is very underrated and should actually be pushed over and create a hype for are these ties for men. So bow ties and ties, I think they are very underrated. I think they have a great sense of appeal, especially in the corporate culture. Don't you feel the same? Or do you have any
Yeah, so
difference of
I
opinion here?
personally love. No, I personally love bow ties. That's like my favorite. I love bow ties, and I love ties too. So what I personally feel is, instead of going for blazers, if you really want to show authority and want to show superiority as against your peers, a tie could work in your favor. So instead of wearing a blazer, at least in a climatic condition like Mumbai, बेहतर ये होगा कि आप ट्राउजर, शर्ट और एक अच्छा सा टाई पहने. Now again, ये अच्छा सा टाई मतलब क्या? और टाई जो बहुत पॉप कलर्स में नहीं रहेगा, so not neon pink and all that. Subtle ties which are acceptable at workplace, the navies, the reds, the darker, deeper shades of reds, the maroons are acceptable. Also again depends on आप जो industry में काम करते हैं, depending on that. But yeah, on a very personal note, I love bow ties and ties. If that is okay with your industry, people like in the organization I work, the principal of my organization wears tie, and I really think it helps him distinguish from the other people in the organization. So I think it's a very small hack to make you look different from the others. So yeah, I
Absolutely,
personally am a
yes.
fan.
And I think it should be made as a thorough segment in power dressing, yeah. I mean, as I mentioned, it's underrated and it needs to be have its value again. So I think that is one thing that one should emphasize on. All right, my dear audience, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any extra questions to pour in, please write to us. Sneha, who's a grooming consultant, who's addressing us right now on power dressing and business etiquettes and your body language, any question that you might have or you would like to seek help on, please comment right away so that we can address your queries and inquiries right here in this live session. So please, may I request everybody, if you have any sorts of queries, please write it up to us in this Vision in Voice live chat with Sneha Vaskal. Well, I would give my audience to have this time. Okay, I think the first question has poured in by More Deepika 7, and she's saying, is black, she's asking if black color good to wear for interview?
Okay. Hello Deepika. Is black color good to wear for interviews? Entirely black, no. If it's the first time you're going for an interview, please try to do a background check with the kind of organization you're going for. Again, as I've told you, black is it's the highest level of authority. When you're going for an interview, आप वहाँ पे highest authority नहीं हो. So Deepika, to answer your question in one sentence, I wouldn't think that going with a complete black would be a good option for an interview.
Right.
You can go with pastels. But not complete black. Yeah.
Right. And also, as Sneha rightly mentioned, that your career, where you're pursuing your career, which is your professional environment, one can always inculcate a sense of dressing accordingly. And that is why Sneha's workshops and her services come into picture. Sneha, please address our audience as to if they want a personal opinion on a certain sect of. Okay, before I address that, we also have something here. Yeah. This is Swapna Vaze. Hello, Sneha and Drashti. Hi, Swapna. Please suggest what to wear according to body shape. Oh yeah, let's bring in this topic which I was about to address also. I have two more segments, very interesting ones coming right after this. But yes, see now as Swapna has rightly suggested, Sneha, even I personally sometimes things come very daunting to me because of the body structure or the body type that we are designed in, or right now how we are in a shape. So people really have this as their major concern as to how one should dress according to body types. And let's consider the universal three body types, and Sneha, shoot in right away.
So there are multiple body types. You have square, pear, apple, rectangle, oval, etc. Now I think this is very technical. Let me just give you a very simple example. Let's say I have a body type which is a triangle, which means I have narrow shoulders and broader hips as a girl. But this is specific to a girl. Now, when you are choosing, because the question is asked by Swapna, I'm just addressing it, keeping in mind the girls.
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
when you have a body shape which is like this, you will not accentuate anything. या आप कुछ भी ऐसा नहीं पहनोगे जिससे ध्यान आपके हिप्स की तरफ जाए. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, लोगों को क्या लगता है ब्लैक ट्राउजर पहना है ना तो कुछ नहीं, कुछ प्रॉब्लम नहीं होगा. एंड दे वेयर अ शर्ट जिसका हेमलाइन मतलब द शर्ट गेट्स ओवर एट देयर वेस्ट हिप्स.
Yeah.
अभी क्या होता है, आपके हिप्स यू थिंक इज द वाइडेस्ट पार्ट ऑफ योर बॉडी, बट अगर आपका शर्ट आपके वाइडेस्ट पार्ट ऑफ द बॉडी को कट कर रहा है, उधर आप उनका हेमलाइन खत्म हो रहा है, इन दैट केस ध्यान वही साइड पे जाएगा. Hence, you should either choose something I would prefer choose something which goes below your waist. So यहाँ पे लोगों का second question रहता है, then how do I wear western? Best example over here is formal pants, long shirts. You get good long shirts, and you can use a scarf below your, those below your.
I would like to show. I have something very similar right now. It's a very tie thingy,
Yeah,
but
no,
yes,
we
scarves
have
are a
the
good
collar,
option.
the collar,
The
have
very
collar.
nice ones. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Are we done there addressing that? We have another question also that is poured in. Does sleeveless shirt qualify as a formal wear? And this is Chanda Prachi. No, right?
No.
Okay,
So
that's
it is believed
short
again.
and
It
sharp
is
no.
again if you're going. No. If you're going for an interview, let's say when it has to be for a marketing, I really don't know whether it is acceptable in the entertainment sector. I really have no clue. But to the best of my knowledge, I would never recommend anyone to go sleeveless for an interview. Again, this is a very personal.
Right. Correct. Also, we have Prachi Kothari with us. Should one wear makeup for interviews? I think this really needs to be addressed because makeup, in which quantity is the right amount of makeup that one can wear for interviews? Sneha.
So generally, this is what I've always believed with respect to makeup. Makeup should always enhance your features and not make you look different from who you are. So if you are going to apply so much makeup that you don't look who you are, I really think it's a no-no for interviews. For interviews, what could you do? A little bit of powdering on your face, a little bit of kajal to highlight your eye, and do not go bold with your lip or mouth. Please wear a lipstick which is really matte, which is not very heavy or not very contrast on your lips. So I would recommend makeup. So yes, I do recommend makeup for interviews, but that kind of makeup which just highlights your features and not changes it completely. So simple kajal, let's say a little bit of lipstick which is matte and not glossy, or maybe a compact or a BB cream depending on the face, the skin type that you have. Yeah.
Sure. I think we've addressed a couple of questions here. And I hope we have not missed anything. I'll quickly check.
Yeah, there are two more.
Okay. Are they visible to you, Sneha?
What kind of jewelry? Yeah.
Okay, we have, yes, I just received one. This is Saili Sunil asking, what kind of jewelry, earrings, chains would you recommend for a workplace?
Okay, so the way you can see me right now, workplace में जब आप desk job करते हो, that's how much people tend to see you. Okay, so see what I'm wearing right now. It's a very dressy event, so I chose to wear this. Something like this you can't wear at workplace. Yeah, we are wearing it because we're too happy in each other's company. Maybe that's the reason we chose to be
Yeah.
dressy. But complete no for workplace. Again, if you see rings, I only have 2 on each, like one finger on each hand. So the more minimal you are with your accessories and jewelry, the better it is for workplace.
Right.
Watch is a must at workplace. If you
Right.
it gives a good impression.
Yes, absolutely. Very quickly, I'm shooting another question. Time constraint को ध्यान में रखते हुए, what is to be done with hair, स्नेहा? ये जो
what is to be
छोटे
done
बाल
with
वाले
hair?
लोग हैं, उनके लिए तो मतलब बहुत ही अच्छी और इजी वे आउट्स होंगे, लेकिन ये जो आई डोंट नो बट लुक एट दिस, तो इतने बड़े लंबे बाल वाली लड़कियां और लेडीज के लिए क्या सजेशन है आपके?
So generally, I would recommend 2 things. Either you go with a ponytail or go with a hairstyle which doesn't come in your way. For example, something like this in an interview, no. You should take your hair behind and tie it properly so that it doesn't disturb you.
The
But
facial.
it's a professional interview. Yeah. Secondly, you can go with a ponytail, or if you really have long hair, you can go with a nice pleat, which is आपने सिर्फ इधर तक प्लीट किया है और उसके नीचे आपने काफी सारा पोर्शन छोड़ा
Volume छोड़ा है,
also
right.
looks quite stylish and nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Another
If you have
question.
one, there's a last, we can take
Yeah,
one
let's
question.
address this last question, keeping time in constraint. This is by gentleman Gaurav. He is, hold on, yeah. Okay, I have always seen my boss walking in a meeting room and folding his sleeves. Does that say something? I'm sure it has something to do with body language. So he means कि जब भी उनके boss आते हैं, the tied sleeve का क्या connection है?
Yeah. Okay. So if you go be psychologically, if you look at this, when I fold my sleeves, it's a non-verbal communication for let's get to business. Okay. So if you see again, I'll give you an example. When Barack Obama used to address the nation, he used to be in a blazer and very very well dressed and in the blazer. Once he finishes addressing the nation, he might just remove the blazer and fold his sleeves because now he's upbeat, wanting to work with his colleagues and
Right,
peers.
right.
So this is again a non-verbal communication for okay, let's get to work, and again it's more functional. However, this is what it actually means, but the person who might be doing it might also not be knowing इसका ये मतलब हो सकता है. So he's either doing it for this or he's doing it because that's more convenient for him. So there are 2 options, but body language के पीछे का science ये है उसके.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think there are many
I hope I've
videos.
answered questions.
Yes, you definitely have, and we love your valuable inputs. स्नेहा, also आजकल तो बहुत सारी चीजें इंटरनेट पे मौजूद होती है. One can always have a one-hand research उनके relative topics पे. लेकिन as an expert, अगर आपको कोई contact करना चाहे, आपकी services क्या है, आप उन्हें कैसे मदद कर पाएंगी, और ये क्या platforms पे आप उनकी मदद कर पाएंगी? How can people reach you?
Okay. Okay. So generally, what we do is people who know me via Instagram drop me a DM on Instagram. This is what we do. That's how, and we would like you to train on that. Then I give them my email ID. We have initial conversations over the phone, decide a quote, price, etc. And eventually, if it's acceptable, we shortlist a date. So how can people reach to me? Via Instagram. Preferable network is my email ID. So I can drop in my email ID, or you can personally DM me after we finish this live. I can drop you my email ID, and we take it forward once we have done the initial conversations via email and phone call.
So my dear audience,
What kind of topics do I do? So honestly, qualified to take any topics under soft skills. I generally specialize in first impressions, verbal, vocal, communication, interpersonal skills, clothing, grooming, body language, and all of this for Western and Indian wear, both. So yeah.
Right, Sneha, I think I have a couple of minutes, just a couple of them.
Drashti, I'm not.
Yeah, can you hear me? Yeah, so I think time is up, and I think it's 30 seconds to have a thumbs up. So Thank you so much for your valuable inputs, and thank you for being our first very speaker here at A
Rashmi.
Vision in Voice. And dear audience, you can connect
Thank
with
you so
Neha
much.
Bhaskar. And any closing thoughts? 10 seconds. Shoot.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much for being a